In the opening scene, we see the rich Molly Gallant getting ready for her trip to Hawaii. While packing, she chats with her best friend, and they go over their ideas for their business making organic baby products. Excited, Molly assures her that everything will be perfect, as she plans on getting her part by taking money from her father. Her best friend is excited as well, and waits for the project to be realized. Having packed her suitcase, Molly lets her know that she'll be hanging up to meet her father downstairs. Getting her suitcase, Molly heads down the stairs believing that she'll be going to Hawaii. Downstairs we see her father pacing back and forth with a nervous look on his face. Molly comes down and sees that his suitcases aren't packed. Confused, she asks why he's not packed, but he pulls her aside to tell her the bad news. The company has gone under, and there's nothing that can be done. As far as her investment money goes, he lets her know that's gone as well. She panics because the money is for their business, but her father assures her that there is a solution. Reminding her of the house her mother grew up in, he lets her know that she can sell the property in Peppermint Valley and use the money to start her business. So, instead of enjoying Hawaii's sunny beaches, Molly heads to the cold and snowy Peppermint Valley. As she arrives, she can't help but feel uncomfortable at how cold it is and how many layers people have on. Regardless, she heads to the nearest cafe in her Hawaii outfit and stilettos. She tries ordering a normal coffee, but everything seems to have mint in it, and the barista seems to be too enthusiastic for her taste. Leaving the cafe, she gets tackled by a guy claiming to have saved her from a snowball. Her coffee falls on the ground, splashing everywhere, but he's the one asking for an apology. Regardless of the inconvenience, Molly shakes his hand as he introduces himself as Noah. After getting her coffee, Molly goes straight to the real estate agency, but it looks like the agent isn't there. She tries calling him and even leaves a couple of voice notes, but being impatient, she decides to go to the house herself. Driving through the snowy roads, she finally gets to the house her mother grew up in. Knocking on the door, she gets greeted by a little girl, so she asks where her parents are. A guy comes up to the door as well, and when Molly looks at him, she realizes that it's Noah. He asks whether she came to apologize, and she matches his sarcasm. She doesn't tell them why she's there, but she doesn't have to as an older lady joins them and ends up recognizing her. The lady happens to know her mother Sarah, and even claims that she used to take care of her. Molly doesn't seem to remember, but the lady couldn't be happier to see her after so many years. Noticing what she's wearing, the lady jokingly assumes that she's headed to Hawaii. However, they are surprised once they find out that she's headed there. Not wanting to waste any more time, Molly asks for a tour around the place, and Noah agrees to give her one. However, before they go, he offers her some winter boots, but she claims that she's fine in her stilettos. It turns out that Noah is right, because as soon as Molly takes a step forward, she falls flat on her back on the fresh snow. Noah rushes to her and sees her lying flat on the ground, knowing that he knew she was about to fall. He helps her up and they head to see where the mint crops. Entering the place, Molly gets hit with a strong smell of mint. They don't stay long as there's not much to see. But when Molly tries to talk business, the little girl Dakota interrupts them to ask Molly to stay for dinner. Molly tries refusing, but they promise that their fried chicken and mashed potatoes are the best. However, that doesn't make her want to stay because she doesn't eat carbs or sugar, but because they're so persistent. At dinner, we see the family enjoy the delicious food, while Molly takes small bites of her green beans. Curious, she asks Kim how she knew her mother. Kim reveals that they were close friends, so when the time came for her mother to move to LA, Kim and her husband expanded their mint business to Peppermint Valley. Noah gets curious as well, seeing that she doesn't seem like a typical girl, so he asks what she does in LA. Molly tells him all about her partnership with Her Bestie in selling organic baby products, but her current job is in marketing. Not only is it exciting, but she's also met many celebrities through it. Kim asks her about Hawaii, and Molly reveals that it's her and her father's tradition to go to sunny Hawaii for Christmas. Wanting to know more, she asks what there is to do in Peppermint Valley, but besides celebrating Christmas, there seems to be nothing else. Because of that, Dakota asks why she left sunny California to come to Peppermint Valley. Molly can't bring herself to tell them the truth, so she claims to have wanted to check out her roots. But of course, they don't believe her. Wanting to end the night, Molly asks for hotel recommendations, but Kim lets her know that she won't let her sleep anywhere else but at the house. Besides, looking out the window, they see that there's a snowstorm. So, against her will, Molly settles into her mother's old room. It makes her smile seeing her mother's old things, but little does she know that she's going to fall in love with the place. Having Molly as a guest only upsets Noah because he assumes that she's come to collect the unpaid rent, but he doesn't know that Molly's about to find out from her father. While on the phone with him, she suggests selling the place to them instead of someone else, but her father informs her that they can't afford it because they're already behind on rent. Molly feels bad. But there's nothing she can say because Noah knocks on her door. He comes up confident and ready to discuss the rent, but once he sees her, he loses all of his confidence and even becomes awkward. Molly finds him funny, but he becomes embarrassed. After giving her an extra blanket, he leaves without mentioning the issue about the rent. Still worried about what she's going to do, Molly decides to go to bed only to be woken up by a loud rooster in the early hours. Not only that, she gets called for breakfast, making her even grumpier. On the bright side, she sees a text from the real estate agent letting her know that she can come to his office. In the kitchen, we see Kim, Dakota, and Noah preparing breakfast, while Kim is cooking, and Noah appears to be eating everything. Given the storm from the previous night, Noah decides to check their other place to see if there's damage, and Dakota joins him. As they leave, sleepy Molly comes down the stairs, visibly upset to be woken up at 6 in the morning. Out of kindness, she offers to help, but Kim ends up giving her a real task. Deciding to join Dakota and Noah, Kim asks her to make the pancakes so they are fresh when they come back. Molly refuses, knowing that she doesn't know how to make pancakes. But Kim doesn't listen to her and even assures her that it's easy. Left alone, Molly tries her best, but ends up burning them. Everyone sits at the table unwilling to try the burnt pancakes, but they make sure to put a lot of syrup to make them edible. After enjoying the burnt breakfast, Molly decides that it's time to go to the real estate agent and to be on the first flight to Hawaii. She thanks them for the hospitality before heading out with her 3 suitcases. However, as she gets to the car, she realizes that her keys are nowhere to be seen. Not being able to find them, she has no choice but to return. Noah answers the door, so she lets him know that her keys are nowhere to be found. Luckily for her, Noah lets her know that he has to stop by town, so he offers to give her a ride. She agrees and gets into the car while he cleans the windshield. As he does so, she contemplates what to do with the property, and in the end concludes that it would be best to sell it to them. However, as Noah gets into the car, he thanks her for not evicting them and even promises to pay all the debt by Christmas. Feeling guilty, she doesn't say anything as they drive into town. As they get there, they're met with Chloe, who doesn't seem too happy with the fact that Noah is close to another female. She appears jealous, but there's nothing to be jealous about yet. Molly excuses herself and heads to the agency, leaving the 2 high school sweethearts to figure it out. Noah begs Chloe not to act like that, but Chloe seems to be deeply hurt. At the agency, Molly asks to sell the property, but makes sure to keep it anonymous. Returning to the truck, she asks Noah for hotel recommendations, but he assures her she can stay at the house as long as she wants. Returning to the house, Molly tries calling her bestie, but the signal seems to be messing with the call. She climbs on a ladder, telling her all about her plan to get the money back, but the call falls through. Molly sighs, already upset. However, she calms herself down by remembering that she's headed to Hawaii the first chance she gets. That goes away quickly, as she receives a text saying that her flight is canceled. While in distress, she loses balance and falls flat onto the snow, yet again. Due to being underdressed, Molly ends up catching a cold in the afternoon. Sitting by the fire, she requests a cocktail with rum to get warmer, but Kim offers her a cut of hot chocolate. No one seems to have it in them to deal with her, so Kim asks Noah to fix the situation. To make her feel better, he suggests they go to the mint farm so she doesn't think about the cold. Although she doesn't want to, he convinces her to come along. Surrounded by all the mint, he offers her some to try, but she's skeptical. Chewing on a mint, he suddenly starts choking, but she struggles to help him. Luckily, he straightens up and shows that he's only joking, and she rolls her eyes. Regardless, she gives it a try and ends up loving it, as expected. Grabbing the cutters, he asks her to cut the mint. She refuses at first, so he pokes fun at her for being one of those girls. Not wanting to be perceived as such, she grabs the cutter and tries to prove her point. Trying to cut from the left and then trying to cut from the right, she struggles until she admits to being mad with manual labor. Handing her the basket, he starts cutting the leaves as she holds the basket to collect them. Curious, she asks how he got into the mint business. Noah reveals that his father used to let him and his brother work in a mint garden, and that's how the business was born. He used to be close with his brother, so after his passing, he decided to take off both Dakota and his mother. Molly feels saddened by his life story, but he switches the topic to hers. She lets him know that the reason they stopped coming to Peppermint Valley is because of her mother's passing. Now, Noah feels saddened, so she switches the topic completely, asking about his school plans. Noah's dream is to go to agricultural school, and he almost made it a reality by expanding the business. Unfortunately, all the money he invested was never returned, which is also the reason why they can't afford rent. Molly's heart breaks when he assures her that he'll pay the rent. After cutting the mint, we see Molly back at the house, but she seems to be bored. Noticing that, Dakota invites her to go shopping with Noah, and she agrees immediately. We see them walking down the Christmas market, but Noah decides to let the girls go shopping while he goes to grab some warm drinks. Going shopping together seems to be a great bonding experience for them. They talk about boys, and Dakota wonders how Molly doesn't have a partner, but Molly is interested in her dating life since she's a teenager. Shyly, Dakota admits to having a crush, but she doesn't think that he knows that she even exists. Molly is sure that he does, which is why she asks if he's going to the same dance as her. Dakota reveals that he is, so Molly decides to take her on a shopping adventure to find the perfect dress. Walking into a boutique, Molly is unpleasantly surprised to see that Chloe is working the register. Naturally, Chloe makes a couple of snarky comments, but Molly tries to focus on getting the dress for Dakota. Suddenly, she spots a pink dress that ends up looking amazing on Dakota. They immediately head to the cash register, but Chloe proceeds with her unnecessary comments. Noticing Molly's expensive bag, she tries asking about it, but Molly asks her to bag the dress. While checking it out, Dakota sees the price and lets them know that she can't afford it. However, Molly assures her that it's her treat. Handing the card to Chloe, she is surprised when it is declined, so she hands her another one. Dakota overhears them, so she lies about already having a dress just so Molly doesn't feel bad. Despite not being able to buy Dakota a dress, Molly still needs something so she can stay warm. Taking off her sunglasses, she asks Chloe what she can get for them, and she points to a pink coat. Leaving the store, Molly phones her father immediately, only to find out that they're broke. She can't believe that they don't have any money left, and that she won't be going to Hawaii. As if that hadn't been enough, Noah returns with the drinks and tries to save her from yet another snowball. Naturally, Molly falls flat onto the snow, yet again. In the evening, Molly tries calling the real estate agent to speed things up. Consequently, she decides to let the family know about her plan, but Kim brings her hot chocolate to her room. Not only that, she expresses her gratitude for her understanding of their situation, and even tells her that she looks like her mother. Molly understands how important the mint business is to the family, and she feels bad for wanting to take it away from them, so she doesn't tell her about wanting to sell the property. After her talk with Kim, Molly goes on a walk with Noah to clear her mind, after he invites her by throwing snowballs at her window. He decides to show her a place he believes she remembers. As they head there, he can't help but ask about Hawaii, and she reveals that it's a tradition she and her father started after her mother's passing. Instead of a home Christmas tree, they would decorate the Christmas tree in the lobby every year, which is why she's so upset about not going this year. He's sure that he'll cheer her up, so he asks her to come with him. As they enter the old horse barn, it cuts to Kim and Dakota, and they seem to be on to them, as Dakota suspects that he likes her. Regardless, Molly seems to recognize the place, and he reveals that it used to be the old horse barn. She gets even more nostalgic as she sees the old sign that's still there. Now the old barn is used for storing and drying mint, and even though Noah's talent in engineering has been useful for the business, there haven't been many sales. Having an idea on her mind, Molly suggests she help them out. He wonders how she could help, so she suggests binding the mint business and Kim's natural remedies. However, he gets closer, and the tension between them rises. Feeling nervous, she struggles to propose her idea, but tells him shortly that they should focus on her marketing skills. He mentions something about a relationship and it sets her off, so when he tries to ask whether he can kiss her, she tells him that they should go back to the house. Despite rejecting him, it's evident that they feel the same about each other. The following morning, we see Dakota and Noah talking secretly. Molly overhears them talking about her, so she asks what they're plotting. They invite her to pick out a Christmas tree with them, and surprisingly she agrees. They find a tree that it's just perfect, and even buy some ornaments before taking a selfie as a memory. Dakota assures them that she has money for the ornaments due to her lip balm business. Molly gets intrigued and finds out that her lip balm business is legit. As they walk around the place, Molly finds herself holding Noah's hand, but both of them seem to be fine with it. Back at the house, they set up the tree and get to decorating immediately. As a part of their tradition, the family decorates the tree by singing the famous 12 Days of Christmas, and now they ask Molly to join. Although she loves their tradition, she doesn't want to participate at first, but then she wows them with her voice as she continues the song. It seems like a perfect moment that can't be ruined, right? Well, Molly gets a text from the real estate agent, and her world crashes as she remembers the purpose of why she's in Peppermint Valley. She ignores the text, going back to decorating, but Noah notices that something's wrong. He assumes that it's because of their moment the previous night, but she assures him that everything's fine, she just needs some time. Kim and Dakota join them as well and give Molly the honor of putting up the top ornament. Not wanting to take away a family's home, Molly gets to work on the plan that same night, but the real estate agent seems to be bothering her. She isn't the only one with troubles on her mind, as we see Noah and Kim trying to come up with a solution for the rent. Seeing that there's no other way, Noah decides to be honest with Molly and admit that they can't afford to live there anymore. However, Molly sits down with him and presents him with the plan of turning their mint into profit. Instead of selling the mint for use, Molly suggests they start making the mint products themselves as they're already making cosmetics from it. Noah seems to like her idea, so they tell Kim all about it in the morning. As they're sharing the plan, Molly gets a call from her bestie, so she heads to her room to tell her about the plan. However, she hears her ordering a peppermint latte, so she asks where she is. Her best friend reveals that she's come to Peppermint Valley as a surprise, and even asks whether she can come for a visit. Molly sends her the dress before hanging up and heading to the kitchen to tell the family. Hanging up the call, the friend's baby starts crying, so the barista recommends Kim's remedy spray, since she's already going there. Molly returns to the kitchen to let them know that she's coming when the doorbell rings. Expecting her friend, she is shocked to see Patrick, the real estate agent, at the door. Luckily, he understands, so she takes the papers and promises to call him. Foolishly, she leaves the papers in the kitchen instead of hiding them, unaware of what's about to happen. The doorbell rings again, and this time it's her best friend. Her baby seems to be crying a lot, so Kim rushes to give him a spray of her Winter Bliss remedy. The baby calms down immediately, so Gracie becomes curious about the product. They head to the kitchen to catch up, so Dakota takes the chance to show Kim and Noah something. On her phone, we see that the news has come out that Molly's family is broke, which leads them to believe that there's something suspicious going on. In the kitchen, we see Gracie and Molly discussing the potential business that can be created, and Molly comes to the conclusion that she can't bring herself to sell the house. As she tells Gracie, Noah enters the kitchen and overhears her saying that. To his side, he notices the documents, so he decides to go through them. The secret is out, so everyone believes that all Molly wants is to sell the place and get to the money fast. Molly tries explaining that she's changed her mind, but he doesn't seem to be interested, as he thinks that they're all lies. Not giving her a chance, he lets her know that she can sell the property because they don't need her. Having no choice, Molly decides to pack her things and leave. She says goodbye to Gracie, who assures her that everything will work out fine, but Gracie seems to have lost hope. Getting into her car, she waves to Dakota and heads to town to make things right. Dakota returns to the house only to tell her brother that he should have listened to Molly. Luckily, Kim backs her up, but nothing changes as even Noah thinks that Molly's gone for good. Because of that, he suggests they doll up and celebrate at the party for the last time. Fortunately, Dakota tells him to snap out of it and propose a plan on how to get Molly back because it's clear they're perfect for each other. Over in town, we see Molly at the boutique offering her expensive designer bag in exchange for Dakota's dress. Chloe is shocked and even offers to give her some store credit, but Molly asks only for the dress. After giving her the dress, Chloe apologizes for her behavior, and Molly accepts it, but what shocks Chloe is the fact that she's leaving. Stepping outside, Molly takes a breath before heading back to the family's house. She knocks, and Noah answers, so she asks him to step outside for a minute. Letting him know that the bag is for Dakota, she decides to tell him everything. From selling the house to having a change of heart, Molly tells him the truth of it all because he deserves it. Not only that, she reveals that it's true Christmas magic, the fact that he made her feel so good, despite having troubles throughout her stay. Realizing he feels the same, he calls out to her, but she doesn't turn around. Grabbing some snow, he throws it on her bit. She doesn't think that it's funny. Seeing that she's grumpy, he gets to business immediately, suggesting they try every way to get to the money. If their business idea flops, they at least be together. Molly smiles, knowing that he wants to be with her. She agrees and asks him to close his eyes. Closing his eyes, he expects a kiss, but he gets a snowball in his face. They run around like kids playing in the snow. Over the next couple of days, Noah and Molly try their hardest to score a deal and get money for the business. Kim and Dakota spend their time getting ready for the party. The night of the party, they gather in the kitchen with some incredible news. Dakota lets them know that she will take equity in the house, and Noah reveals that he's gathered some investors, which will be enough for them to have a great start. Leaving the celebration for the party, all of them rush to get ready. Before getting ready, Molly gets a call from her father, letting her know that he won't be able to make it for Christmas. But on the bright side, she tells him all about her business idea. The party seems to be in their favor, as not only do we see Dakota and Parker share their first dance, but we also see Molly and Noah share their first kiss. Christmas finally comes, and all of them are opening presents in front of the Christmas tree. The doorbell suddenly rings, and when Kim opens the door, Molly's father stands there as a surprise. They let him in and enjoy a Christmas breakfast, just like they used to many years ago. After expressing gratitude, Molly's father lets her know that their business is thriving again, and they're no longer bankrupt. As for Noah and Molly, they share a passionate Christmas kiss, feeling happier than ever.